Hey, this is Badu from Brookdale Toyota, and I'm here to show you today the all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra. Completely redesigned from the ground up, brand new frame, new engines, new transmission, the whole bit. Now we have here our limited model, and this is the first model that'll give you leather seats, but it's very, very well equipped. I love the new headlights. I love the really massive front end. It really has that truck stance to it. It has a lot of power. I love the new fog lamps embedded into the bumper, and then you also have different lights that you can add on here. But the star of the show here is going to be the engine, right? Twin turbo V6. A lot of power. The SR model is going to give us 348 horsepower and 400 foot-pound of torque. When we move up to the SR5 and the rest of the lineup, we're going to get 389 horsepower and 479 foot-pound of torque. That is more than the last generation V8 had. And if you wait for the hybrid model, you will not only get better gas mileage, but you'll also pick up 437 horsepower and 583 foot-pound of torque, all at 2,400 RPM. So you're going to be able to really get this truck going. All of these engines run with a 10-speed automatic. It's very smooth. It's very, very quiet. You can barely tell when it's shifting. And whenever you're towing, it has different tow haul modes that you can engage to actually allow you to get the most of the power that's available. Now, the limited model on here has these over fenders, beautiful wheels, and I should mention, now a first for Toyota, we can get up to 22-inch wheels standard in these Tundra models. So it's going to look great, it's going to have a lot of power, but some of the things that I enjoyed are going to be big mirrors, really blind spot monitoring in the whole thing, allowing me to really see very well to the side, but plenty of cameras embedded in these mirrors that I'm going to show you once we make it to the inside. Speaking of the inside, take a look. This massive 14-inch screen is going to really steal the show, but I want you to pay attention to a lot of the little details. Take a look at the buttons. The feel of them is incredible. A lot of soft surfaces throughout for when your elbows are resting. That leather-wrapped dash is really soft. The seats, very comfortable, very, very supportive. Power seats on both sides, and some really nice detail into the design there. And it is heated and ventilated at this level here. Coming around to the back, Toyota didn't forget the storage, right? The seats here, when I lift them up, I'm able to store a few things. People have had jumper cables, and right there you see the hooks that we can use in the bed to tie down different types of cargo. Both sides will flip up to allow you access to this extra storage. And while people are seating back here, they have a lot of power supplies. Take a look at the USB ports that are back there and the extra power outlet, the massive vents that get heat and AC to the back, and we have other ones under the front seats as well. And one of my favorite features is going to be this panoramic moonroof. It's a massive, massive moonroof. As you can see, it opens up. And now if you couple that with a back window that rolls down, you're going to be able to get an incredible amount of feel, an incredible amount of air going through the vehicle. So you're going to feel like you're outside when you're in the vehicle. Now back here, this particular truck has the 5.5-foot box, but now new for this model, Toyota gives us the option for a 6.5-foot box on the CrewMax, which we didn't have before. So you're going to be able to really haul a lot. But I think another big story here is going to be the rear suspension. Toyota switched over from the leaf springs, giving us now coil springs that have the ability to handle all the weight we need. So we actually get really, really good cargo capacity here. But the big story is going to be how much smoother this vehicle is going to ride. We're really going to get a vehicle that's going to ride similar to what a Highlander has in a truck feel, and it's going to be still very, very nimble. Now, speaking of the cargo box here, Toyota's using the same type of material we've had in the Tacoma for a long time. And at the push of a button here, I'm going to be able to just drop the tailgate. But this particular vehicle also has this lining on here that's extremely grippy, and it allows me to secure my cargo in the bed very, very easily. LED lights in here so I can see what's going on. An extra power supply that we've also seen in other Toyota vehicles. So we can plug in tools and do a little bit of work on the go. And again, this railing on here, and we can use those tie downs that are inside to really move everything the way we need it. Now back here, I mean, you can see extra lighting throughout, plenty of cameras, and I'm going to show you all of these once we make it to the inside. 4 and 7-pin connectors, very easy to get to. All these sensors embedded into the bumper let me know when I'm getting close to an obstacle. A massive hitch, because this particular vehicle can now, if it's equipped properly, tow up to 12,000 pounds. Now this will vary based on which vehicle you pick, but all of them are going to be extremely, extremely capable. This particular model is a limited, and we can tell a little bit with the extra chrome all the way around. It does have the smart key system, so just touching the inside here, we can unlock the doors, and when you walk away, push this section here to lock all doors. Once you make it in, you can have memory seats tied to that same smart key, or we can just push the button on here and go ahead and make the adjustment. So 2 drivers can have it where they like. I love the nice finish on there, really shiny. And then we can control all of our mirrors, and this one does have the power folding mirrors. Now I'm going to show you some of the buttons on the left side here of the dash. And the top one there is to turn on the top left, to turn on the lights, the outside lights and the bed lights with the doors. So every time I open the door, they'll come on, or to keep them on or off. To the right of it, we have a button that we can use to engage our automatic high beams. Now this is a really neat feature because this car is equipped with LED headlights, and you can turn on your high beams and they'll be really bright. When you turn on the automatic setting here, they'll shut down whenever you're catching up to a vehicle or it senses one coming at you. The next button over allows me to shut off the feature that will turn off the gas engine whenever we're not using it for an extended period of time. We have next to it a dimmer switch, and then the odometer trip A, trip B select. And the rear sensors can also be turned off. So if I have a trailer attached, I can make sure it doesn't keep beeping at me every time I'm in reverse. Now on the second row there, we can see the heated steering wheel, an awesome feature up here. And the power supply that runs the AC, we can turn that on or off. Now the interior of this here is incredible. It's beautiful, it's very, very comfortable on the limited here. And I'm gonna show you some of the buttons we have. Typical Toyota, we have the safety connect button here where I can, at a push of a button, get in touch with help. If I see that I need roadside assistance, anything like that, I can talk to Toyota 24/7 all year long. And we also have our typical door controls for the lights, as well as our sunroof, moonroof shade and all. We can open, close, again, this massive sunroof in here. But another feature that I really like is this auto dimming mirror. Now, it's tied to one of the cameras back there, and at a flip of a switch here, we can actually get the camera showing us what's directly behind us, as opposed to me having to look through people that are behind me. And we can make adjustments and move that camera around. So it's an incredible tool, I think, to be able to see what's going on behind you without being blocked by anybody in the back seat. So now in this particular one, as I mentioned out there, we have this 14-inch touch screen. So it's a massive screen, a lot of information, and you can imagine getting navigation directions on here, being able to see very well, and splitting the screen to get different bits of information. Toyota has a new setup now where you can kind of customize a little bit what services you want on your vehicle, and those services can follow you. So when I get into a different vehicle, I can just log in and have the things that I am used to, the way that I have my screen, the colors, the radio settings, and access to different levels of navigation, all just based on what I choose. The Qi wireless charging is awesome on here, but obviously extra USB and all. We have a lot of different options for music here. But I'm just going to start with the radio. You can save all your radios. We have AM, FM, and satellite radio free to you for 90 days. It does have HD radio, so we can get more content as needed. We can connect multiple phones, and we now have the ability for multiple phones to be connected via Bluetooth. So I can have 2 phones connected and don't need to worry about switching all the time, going back and forth. But I'm going to go through some of the settings that we have on here. We are going to be able to have a driver assigned that's a main driver, but we can, as you can see here, add different guests as well, and they can challenge and they can have the profile be what they like. Customization on here is very, very easy. Interacting with the screen, it's super easy. As you can see, it responds very, very quickly. We can update the software all on our own. But I'm going to go into Vehicle Customize because we can now decide a little bit more how long do we want the lights to stay on after we've gotten out of the vehicle. When we unlock the vehicle, what happens? Do we just push once and it unlocks all doors at once? And every time I shift to park and from park, it locks and unlocks. All these we can kind of go in and customize on here, but like I said, it's a very, very responsive screen. It reacts very, very quickly to the information that you want. Now, this also gives me Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now, here's what this would look like. You're going to be able to get your music, get your map on here, and we can switch and have all these other apps loaded up that we'd want to use. And if you are an Apple person, you'll be able to see just a slightly different layout, but have your Android Auto, your Apple CarPlay selected. And the last thing I want to mention on here is the work that Toyota has done with JBL in this particular vehicle. And I tell you, it's a treat. Toyota's worked very, very closely with JBL from when they were designing the vehicle to make sure their speakers are placed in the proper position, and the casing of it is there to take away all the vibration, so you really get most of the sound, and you really actually have the ability to tell the fine detail that was thrown in there at recording, and even in the bass level, without moving the treble, the bass, the mid, leaving everything right down the middle, you get such incredible sound, and you can customize it further to your liking. But this is definitely something to check out whenever you're taking a look at this new Toyota Tundra. Right below the screen here, we're going to have our typical climate control, but Toyota has the volume button right here, and you can see I'm able to make adjustment to the driver and passenger temperature very easily. We can synchronize all of it and switch the airflow very, very easily. I like the fact that we can make these changes while wearing gloves, which is really important. Heated seats and ventilated can be adjusted obviously very easily for driver and passenger. And a few more controls for the air conditioning. Right below that, we have now here the ability to make adjustments to our air suspension. We can raise or lower the suspension if we choose to, maybe to connect it, to make it easier to connect to a trailer. Our hazard lights here and the traction and stability control. Now over here, I have the panoramic view option. And when I push this, we're going to be able to use this same 14-inch screen to get a good view of everything that's going on around the vehicle. So if I'm getting out of a tight parking spot, this is actually a great view to use. The next button here allows me to turn on different trailer modes. So this car has the ability to actually record different settings for different trailers. And this is going to be for the brake adjustments, and is it a long trailer? Do we need to adjust the blind spot monitoring to make sure that it covers all the areas for not just the vehicle but the trailer, so that I can get warnings whenever a vehicle could be potentially clipped by me switching lanes? And it's very easy. We can store up to, I believe, 5 different trailers. You'll come in here, select it, and then off you go. Every one of these is coupled with a 10-speed automatic transmission. Right over here, we have our emergency brake, and it's an electronic unit. But I love the fact that it comes with a hold button. When I have that engaged while in gear, it allows me to actually have the vehicle use the emergency brake to hold itself in place. So on an incline, I can go from brake to gas without having the vehicle roll backwards or even roll forward for that matter. Now, just behind the shifter here, we're going to have different drive modes that we can select. And at a push of a button here, I can change a little bit of the behavior of the vehicle based on what I want to see. And we can engage our tow haul mode as well. And as you can see, our new 4-wheel drive select is quite easy to go from 2-wheel to 4-wheel, and then even engage 4-wheel low. We'll put it in a lower gear and get to really use all the power out of this twin turbo engine. The default setting is going to be normal, and if I engage eco, we can get a little bit less throttle response to try to get better fuel mileage. And in sport, we're going to get the opposite, where the gas engine is going to give me a lot more power because the throttle is definitely a lot more responsive. And we can switch these different drive modes just at the twist of a knob, very, very easy. Not only is the steering wheel heated, it's also very soft, so it feels very luxurious. This is really, really nice leather, and your hands rest on here just very naturally. Right on the steering wheel, I like these little recesses for whenever I'm interacting with the buttons, but I'm gonna control the cruise control from here. Adjust the distance between me and the vehicle in front of me, and turn on lane tracing assist, which will help me stay centered in my lane and make more correction to make sure that I track with the vehicle in front of me. Mode, and this button here allowed me to go from AM, FM, XM, and then switch my different radio stations or tracks. And on the left side here, I'm going to start with the volume button and the talk switch, so I can say things like tune to and tell it the frequency, call followed by the name that's saved in my phone book. And this is just a quick back button to go to the previous screen. And here I can hang up and also answer a particular phone call. These arrows here are going to allow me to move up and down and left and right to select the different bits of information I want to see from the 4.2-inch MID here. Now this is probably the typical screen to get the speedometer here, but right below that we can get different information about fuel mileage, and this eco will show me, it's a graph that will show me whenever I'm being aggressive or gentle on the gas pedal. And we can shift to the other screens, this compass screen, as well as my lane departure alert, all on the same area, and I can go up and down here. To the right, we're gonna get the radio station we listen to, and I can switch the stations actually from here. And this is one of my favorite screens. This is where I can go to see the different trailers that are selected, and we can adjust the gain for the boost based on the different types of trailers that we have. Now, we also talked about the blind spot monitoring. Right now, because I don't have a trailer, we can have it just stop at the length of the vehicle. When we have a trailer on here, you're going to be able to have that factored in and give the vehicle more distance to track. This particular one will show me the pitch and roll for the serious off-roaders here. And if I scroll down one more, this is our trip A and trip B, and the elapsed time is the last screen on this page. Next one over, we can go through all the individual safety features that we have, and we can make adjustments. So for the pre-collision, we can tell it how sensitive we want it to be, turn on or off the blind spot monitoring. So this is where we can just really make a lot of adjustments, even the camera that can read the road signs. And on here, I can select, again, like we talked about, different trailers, make sure that the lights are actually on. So if I have a bulb that's out, it gives me a warning. And we can go in here, make adjustments to a lot of different settings in the vehicle as well. The rear seat reminder, so that every time I shut off the vehicle, it gives me a reminder to check the back seat. And I like on the bottom there, you have that all three seat belts are being monitored. So if anyone sitting back there does not have their seat belt on, I'm going to be able to know from the driver's seat. And the last screen on here is going to be the message screen. So if I have a tire that's low on air, that's where that message will pop up every time the vehicle is running. The 2022 Toyota Tundra is also very versatile. A lot of different packages to pick from, starting from the SR, a little bit less power, but we're getting better gas mileage and we're also getting a lower price point. From there, we can move up to the SR5, and that's probably going to be one of our more popular models. A lot of creature comforts at that level. Going from the SR5, we can add our off-road package, and that gives me a little bit more meatier tires, mud and snow rated, and definitely the off-road credentials, to a sport package, which makes it a lot of fun around town. From the SR5, we can get into the Limited, and that's this particular vehicle. Now we're getting heated seats, ventilated, the really, really nice trim interior. $1,794. Platinum is actually going to be the next package up. Gives me the standard moonroof, 12-inch MID. We looked at the 4.3. Now the 12-inch screen is massive, and that's the one behind the steering wheel. Just to put this in perspective, some vehicles have 8 or 9-inch screens in the middle of the dash. And Toyota's giving you a 12.3-inch screen right behind the steering wheel because we have what? A 14-inch screen that's on the dash. Now from the Platinum, we can jump into the 1794, and that's our range-topping luxury vehicle with a beautiful, beautiful interior, really nice wheels. And the top dog of it is going to be our TRD Pro with the most off-road credentials on the Tundra. And be on the lookout for the hybrid engine coming up soon. It's going to give you, again, great amount of torque at a very low RPM, but you just got to put the Tundra on your list. I'm Badu from Brookdale Toyota. Thank you for watching.